This is NWE TV, and I'm reporting to you live from the street debates somewhere in Africa. It's a few days to the elections, and there's so much tension in the atmosphere. And as you can see, the people are here chanting for peace, and all they are saying is, "We want peace, we want peace." We can also see our presidential candidates here ready to pledge for peace.
My continent, Africa. In my continent, the people thirst for peace to the point that they cry for it. But the cost of peace is justice. Justice, the ones who get it never merit, and the ones who deserve it never get it, because unfortunately, only the few privileged are able to afford it. So when a good man asks me why I didn't cry for peace, my reaction was okay. Or maybe you could hold your peace. Because last I checked, not many good men had practiced what they had preached. And I've come to know that the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. So as I pick my pen to ink justice into this peace, my quest was to see the injustices, disparities that incite, divide and separate us cease. Then, and only then, I knew I could proceed to ask, are we peacemakers or warmongers? Can I put it to you that the cry for peace every other quadruple yes in our nation is merely an act of hypocrisy, a deceit? It is like we purchase a piece of peace, ride on it for 3 long years to only realize within the 4th that we have to go back for a receipt. Then we pride ourselves to be a nation that is generally peaceful. Generally peaceful. Wow, so used to be Sierra Leone until they woke up one good morning to realize they had become prisoners in Freetown. So it used to be Angola till 500,000 people were killed and 3 million made refugees in 1989. So it used to be Burundi, Central African Republic, Libya, Cote d'Ivoire and Sudan. So it used to be till 1994 when one of the worst genocides of the 20th century hit and 800,000 Tutsis were butchered in a hotel in Rwanda. So generally peaceful to me sounds more like we are sitting on a time bomb yet claiming it's our most comfortable seat ever. Because the causes of all these turmoils, mayhem and unrest are marginalization, exploitation, rights violation, corruption, tribalism, ethnicism, nepotism. All of them practices of injustice we find in our country every day. The irony is, war is not the absence of peace. War is the absence of justice. So before we talk peace, let's talk about justice. Justice for those denied a fair share of the nation's cake. Justice for the headquarters who pay more taxes than the profits they make. Justice for the families who lose loved ones mysteriously but no one investigates. Justice for the degree holders who serve their nation wholeheartedly after school but are now statistics of unemployed graduates. Justice for the innocent ones who are arrested mistakenly, remanded for years but never read their rights. Justice for the ordinary citizen who spends more than half of his salary on electricity bill but sleeps in darkness at night. Justice for the underprivileged child whose name was awarded the scholarship that the minister's nephew benefits. Justice for the breadwinners who are now jobless because of the biased politics. Justice for the young entrepreneur whose business never saw light of the day because the lights were rather too erratic. Justice, justice, justice. Justice for all the injustices and gruesome practices, because that's the only license we can have to drive towards peace. In a nation where doom soars, it feels to me a great honor that I can be one of those bearing the torch, because truth is we all need a better illumination. Government, security, judiciary, citizenry. It is time for resolution, a focus on the bigger picture. And I don't suggest a utopian world, but if indeed we profess to be peacemakers as we do, then it is unto us to know that as people, our charge is to be our brother's keeper, not a sniper. As state institutions, your mandate is to give us solutions, not explanations. National security, when we say we entrust our lives to you, we mean protect us and not prey on us. So when we commit offenses, let us pay the penalty. Meanwhile, don't allow a session of people with the same offenses to go with impunity. Judiciary, you are supposed to be our advocates, activists, and not our adversaries. Legislature, we voted you into parliament to represent us and make laws for us. Us, capital U, capital S. That means you, inclusive. You are not above the laws you made for us. Now government. And you see how I say it politely because you are my executive. Please, the system of governance you promised us is democracy and not hypocrisy. The oath you saw was to lead us by the truth and not fallacy. So your intent and actions should not always be right and justified simply because they were listed in your policy. Sometimes you should open your eyes to see things from the opposition's point of view. You should open your mind to objectively agree to disagree on issues. But if you allow your personal interest to rest solely in winning the next election and the next and not the welfare of the people, then after the elections have been won but the whole nation is shredded and torn, where would be the seat of government and who would be the people? When only corpses of our friends, families and beloved fill every bed and corridors of our hospitals, and the handful of survivors are disabled, and every corner of the street resonates with gunshots of rebels, wouldn't whatever good you had intended been overcome by evil, leaving you a warmonger rather than a peacemaker? The irony is, sometimes in our quest to become heroes, we end up as villains, warmongers instead of peacemakers. But actually, true peace is residence of our hearts. So it is about time our hearts did the talking. Nonetheless, the peace of God I bequeath to all of us. You are made for more. I love you without full stop. Giovanni.